So, carrying on from the last session, the interlude between Magnus and Orinthia, when Orinthia questions him, why impossible, pray? She questions that why cannot I change places with your wife? Magnus answers, I cannot make you understand. You see, you have never really been married, though you have led 2 captives to the altar. She has been married 2 times basically. So they were like 2 captives. Captives means prisoners. And the altar here refers to the church. Alright. So you have led 2 prisoners to the church to get married and born children to one of them. Born means you have carried in your body. In other words, you have been the mother of one man's children. Being your husband is only a job for which one man will do as well as another. Because you have forced those 2 men to marry you, and anybody who marries you is only a job for which one man will do as well as another. That is, for you, the man does not matter. It is only a job that he will be doing, and which the last man holds, means keeps, subject to 6 months notice in the divorce court. That is, after marriage, in a short while, you drag the man to the divorce court and you give him a notice of 6 months. Being my wife is something quite different. In other words, if you marry me, getting rid of me as your husband will be impossible. You will not be able to do it even if you want to. Cutting your ties with me as my wife will not be so easy. So, being my wife is something quite different. The smallest derogation to Jemima. Derogation means talking about or treating someone in a way that shows you do not respect him or her. You do not respect him or her. So, if the smallest derogation against Jemima is made, against her dignity, would hit me like the lash of a whip across the face. About yours, somehow, I do not care a rap. A rap means the least bit, the minimum amount. What he's trying to say is that if something negative or disrespectful is said about Jemima, it will affect him, his position, his dignity, his status as king of the country. But if something is said about Orinthia, he does not really care, because it does not change his position as a king. About yours, somehow, I do not care a rap. So, the point is that a ruler or a king must have a consort. Consort means a husband or a wife. If the ruler of a country is a man, a king, then he must have a wife, a queen. If on the other hand, like the Queen of England, for example, she lost her husband a few weeks back. So Prince Philip was her consort. Alright, she was the Queen of England. So in the same way, a king or a consort, a ruler must have a consort. So Orinthia says, nothing can derogate from my dignity. Derogate, reduce my respect It is divine. Because I'm a goddess, it is created by God. Hers is only a convention. Convention means tradition. That is why you tremble, means you shiver when it is challenged. Nothing can affect me and my reputation or my dignity. But since she is only a human, even the slightest slur against her makes you shiver. Magnus disagrees, not a bit, not at all. It is because she is a part of my real workday self. This is the reality. You belong to fairyland. Meaning dreams as versus reality. So Orinthia, suppose she dies, will you die too? Not immediately. I shall have to carry on as best I can without her. Carry on means continue to the best of my ability without my wife. Though the prospect terrifies me. Prospect terrifies me? The possibility that something bad may happen makes me fearful, makes me afraid. Orinthia, might not carrying on without her include marrying me? That is, supposing something happens to her, supposing she dies, and you try to carry on without her, will you not marry me then? Will not that include marrying me? So he says, my dear Orinthia, I had rather marry the devil. Means, I would prefer to marry the devil, but not you. You are not wife material. Being a wife is not your job. You are not capable of being a wife. That is why she had divorced 2 men in the past. So Orinthia, you think so because you have no imagination. You don't know me because I have never let you really possess me. Possess me means have me or own me. I should make you more happy than any man has ever yet been on earth. When will that happen? If you marry me, then I would make you even more happy than any man on this earth. In other words, you will be the happiest man alive if I become your wife. Magnus, I defy you to make me more happy than our strangely innocent relations have already made me. Defy you means challenge you. Strangely innocent relations, this clearly tells us that there is no sexual connection between Magnus and Orinthia. Perhaps too he goes to meet her, he maintains her, he keeps her in one part of the palace only because she is a kind of entertainment for him. Rather, we can say that she is more of a means of relaxation for him. And their relationship is totally devoid without any sexual connection. This is the truth, even if the public outside does not know it. Orinthia, rising restlessly. Restlessly means she is unable to stay still. You talk like a child or a saint. Then turning to him, I can give you a new life, one of which you have no conception. Conception means idea. You cannot imagine what life I can give you. She's promising him. She's coaxing him, challenging him, forcing him to marry her. I can give you beautiful, wonderful children. Have you ever seen a lovelier boy than my Basil? Basil is her son from one of her husbands. So Magnus, your children are beautiful, but they are fairy children, and I have several very real ones already. Where Jemima is the mother, she has borne children for him. A divorce would not sweep them out of the way of the fairies. That is, just because I divorce Jemima, my children will not go away. In fact, my children will inherit everything that I have, not your fairy children. In short, when your golden moment comes, When the gates of heaven open before you, you are afraid to come out of your pigsty? In other words, when a pigsty is a place that is very dirty, it's very untidy, where pigs are kept. Alright, what she's trying to tell him is that when you have the moment here to marry a goddess and turn your life into life of the heaven, you are rejecting it. Why? Because you are afraid to come out of your dirty current situation. So Magnus says, if I am a pig, a pigsty is the proper place for me. So well, if I am a pig, then that is where I will be. Pigs are not very clean animals. They are happy to mess around in dirt. You must have seen even in the streets of Nasirabad. Anyway, I cannot understand it. Means I fail to understand. Why do you not accept or rather agree marrying me? All men are fools and moral cowards when you come to know them. When you come to know them means when you get to know them closer. But you are less of a fool and less of a moral coward. That is, in comparison to other men, you are better than them, than any man I have ever known. You have almost the makings of a first-rate woman in you. First-rate means excellent, of the best quality. When I leave the earth and soar up to the regions which are my real eternal home, in other words, when I die and I go up to heaven like an angel, which is my real home, then you can follow me. I can speak to you as I can speak to no one else. Orinthia and Magnus are good friends. So she says, I can speak to you openly, frankly, unlike any other man. And you can say things to me that would just make your stupid wife cry. There is more of you in me than of any other man within my reach. In other words, we two are similar to each other. We are alike in nature and temperament. There is more of me in you than of any other woman within your reach. We are meant for one another. We are perfectly suited. It is written across the sky, means it is God's wish that you and I are king and queen. It is our destiny that you and I are king and queen. How can you hesitate? What attraction is there for you in your common, healthy, jolly lumps of children? Lumps of children means made of mass of flesh, and your common housekeeper wife, and the rabble of dowdies and upstarts and intriguers and clowns that think they are governing the country when they are only squabbling with you. Meanings first. Rabble of dowdies. Rabble means disorderly crowd. Disorderly crowd. And dowdies means lacking stylishness. Lacking stylishness. Upstarts means one who has suddenly risen. One who has suddenly risen in rank or importance but behaves as if he or she is more important. He is more important. And intriguers means plotters. Orinthia fails to understand why Magnus is prepared to continue living in a way an ordinary life with his children and his wife, and surrounding himself with that crowd of cabinet members who only plot, intrigue, or who are only upstarts, and clowns. Clowns means common entertainers that think they are governing the country, who believe that they are ruling the country. This is the reference to the cabinet members, when they are only squabbling, means quarreling with you. Why do you want to continue with them? What she means to say is, if and when they get married, she will make certain that Magnus gets rid of all these crowd of people who ultimately are more of a disadvantage for him. He does not gain, he is unable to gain as much as he could possibly do if she was his wife. Look again at me, man, again and again. Am I not worth a million such? A million such what? Such people? Is not life with me as high above them as the sun is above the gutter? Meaning, am I not better than anyone else on this earth? So Magnus, yes, 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 of course. You are lovely, you are divine. So she cannot restrain a gesture of triumph, She says, see, she almost throws her head back. And you are enormously amusing. Enormously means greatly. Amusing, causing somebody to laugh. In other words, entertaining. This anticlimax is too much for Orinthia's exaltation. When he says that you are highly amusing. Here she was, when earlier he says you are divine. So she's very happy. And then he says you are greatly amusing. This anticlimax is too much for Orinthia's exaltation. Exalted means she was least expecting it. And exaltation means extreme happiness. But she is too clever not to appreciate it. Means not to understand the value of it. With another gesture, movement of the hand, this time of deflation, she is less proud, less excited. She sits down at his left hand with an air of suffering patience. Suffering patience means as if she is forced to do something against her will, and listens in silence to the harangue which follows. Harangue means a long, loud, angry speech. Now Magnus begins. It's a long dialogue by Magnus. Someday perhaps nature will graft the roses on the cabbages and make every woman as enchanting as you. Now, graft means to fix a piece of living plant, to fix a piece of living plant onto another. So he says that someday maybe God will make women who are both beautiful like a rose and useful like a cabbage, and make every woman as enchanting as you. Enchanting, delightfully charming, beautiful, attractive. And then what a glorious lark life will be. Glorious means wonderful, and lark means fun-filled. And then life will be so fun-filled, wonderfully fun-filled, full of fun. But at present, what I come here for is to enjoy talking to you like this. When I need an hour's respite, Respite means a short period of rest from royalty. When my stupid wife has been worrying me. This word is not his, he's repeating what Orinthia has said. He does not believe that his wife is stupid. He is only trying to please her, Orinthia that is. So when my stupid wife is not worrying me, or my jolly lumps of children, again her words, are bothering me. Bothering me means troubling me. Or by turbulent cabinet. Why turbulent? Because they are constantly disagreeing, obstructing me. Obstructing, stopping me from working. When, as the doctors say, what I need is a change, please underline this. This is why he comes here. Only to refresh himself, change his mood, because he has already said that you are amusing and entertaining. What I need is a change. You see, my dear, there is no wife on earth so precious, no children so jolly, no cabinet so tactful, that it is impossible ever to get tired of them. In other words, none of them are perfect. One does get tired of the wife or the children or the cabinet. Alright? And so, he also needs a change. Jemima has her limitations, as you have observed, as you have pointed out or noticed. And I have mine. I am not perfect either. Now, if our limitations exactly corresponded, I should never want to talk to anyone else. Corresponded means if we could fulfill each other's limitations, we would be the perfect couple. In other words, if what I lack, you could provide, and what you don't have, I could supply, then we would be the perfect couple. And neither would. Now, if our limitations exactly corresponded, I should never want to talk to anyone else, and neither would she. Corresponded with whom? With Jemima. Then even she would not want to talk to anybody. But as that never happens, we are like all other married couples. That is, there are subjects which can never be discussed between us, because they are sore subjects. Sore, painful, which have to be avoided. For example, Orinthia, they never talk about Orinthia when Magnus and Jemima are together. There are people we avoid mentioning to one another because one of us likes them and the other does not. Not only individuals, but whole sorts of people. Sorts of people, types of people, whole groups. For instance, your sort. Your sort? Women who are basically who are girlfriends, mistresses to other men. I never talk about your sort with my wife. My wife does not like your sort, your type of people, does not understand it, mistrusts and dreads it, is afraid of it. Not without reason, she has reasons. Why? Because women like Orinthia take the men away and force them to divorce their wives. And Jemima, like any other wife, distrusts Orinthia. Not without reason, for women like you are dangerous to wives. Why? Because you may take away or snatch away her husband. That is me. But I don't dislike your sort. In fact, I like your sort of women. I understand it, and being a little in that line myself. That is, to some extent, I am also like you. At all events, I am not afraid of it. Though the least allusion to it brings a cloud over my wife's face. Allusion to it means even the slightest indirect reference. Even the slightest indirect reference to you brings a cloud over my wife's face. Means it distresses her, she becomes troubled. So when I want to talk freely about it, I come and talk to you. I come and talk to you. And I take it she talks to friends of hers about people of whom she never talks to me. And I understand, I know that there are other people with whom she can talk freely, but she is unable to talk about certain subjects with me. She has men friends from whom she can get some things that she cannot get from me. Those men friends are not her so-called boyfriends. She's happy enough with the king, but yes, she has men friends who provide her the necessary company that I fail to do. If she did not do so, she would be limited by my limitations. In other words, couples need to be away from each other. They need an outlet. They need friends who think like them. If she did not have these men friends, then she would be limited by my limitations. She would be forced to spend all her free time with me, which would end in her hating me. And if that happened, she would hate me. So I always do my best to make her men friends feel at home with us. Feel at home means I welcome them as guests. Now the thing is that Orinthia helps Magnus to relax. She provides the necessary diversion for him from his challenging, demanding, dull, routine life. So it's okay if just as he has Orinthia to go to, Jemima also has men friends with whom she can spend time with. So Orinthia, a model husband in a model household. Model means perfect. You are a perfect husband in a perfect household. She is not being admiring, she is being sarcastic. And when the model household becomes a bore, then I am the diversion. Diversion means the distraction. Because meetings with her are different from the routine. Something that takes your attention away from something else, distraction or diversion. Well, what more can you ask? Do not let us fall into the common mistake of expecting to become one flesh and one spirit. We are not one really. We can never be one. Every star has its own orbit. Orbit means the fixed area, the path to move in. And between it and its nearest neighbor, there is not only a powerful attraction, but an infinite distance. Infinite means endless. Even if each star may be close to one another, they have to move in their fixed path. Although there may be an endless attraction between them. When the attraction becomes stronger than the distance, the two do not embrace. They crash together in ruin. आकाश में देखते हैं ना हम, तारे टूटते हैं. क्या होता है उस समय? हमें ये एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल फैक्ट समझना है. एक दूसरे से टकराते हैं वो. देयर इज़ अ क्रैश. और टकरा कर खंडित होते हैं, टूट जाते हैं. ऐसा ही हमारे साथ भी होगा. We too also have our orbits, our fixed area, and must keep an infinite, never-ending, endless distance between us to avoid a disastrous collision. Disastrous, ruinous, crashing into one another. Keeping our distance is the whole secret of good manners. And without good manners, human society is intolerable and impossible. Meaning, that is each star, even though attracted to its neighbor, can move only on its fixed course. Likewise, we human beings also have to maintain our distance, because only then can we be tolerable to one another and the whole society. Orinthia, would any other woman stand your sermons and even like them? Stand means tolerate. Sermons means long talks on a religious or moral subject. That is, you are so boring, you give such long sermons and I am expected to hear them. कोई और औरत सुनेगी तुम्हारे को इतनी देर तक? Orinthia, we are only 2 children at play and you must be content means satisfied to be my queen in fairyland. That is, our meeting is not real. Our relationship is stuff that dreams are made of. And rising, I must go back to my work. I have to leave. With this, we'll stop here. The interlude is not yet over, but we will continue in the next session.